today? What are we doing today?
Today, we are back for a very exciting comeback reaction that we have been waiting so long for. And we'll be reacting to Treasure.
Yes, so Treasure is finally back today after like a year since their last with their song called Jikjin. Well, they wrote the English title as Jikjin as well, but that basically means like moving straight ahead, straight forward. Obviously, we watched the teaser in advance, so I kind of know what to expect. And like Peyton said earlier, we have been waiting for this for so long because it's been so long since their last comeback. So, that being said, let's just go.
The production quality for this is supposed to be huge too.
Oh yeah, I saw the article. I'm addicted to something. Maybe to you. Probably. Or that. Oh, like doubling. Oh! Oh my gosh, they filmed
Whoa!
this too. Going straight to you. Oh.
Whoa.
The sound effects are really cool.
Too concentrated reading what's behind it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. This one is more update than last time. It's like quick. Oh.
They've grown so much.
I know I ask this every single time there's a car in a music video, but can he even drive?
The only word that comes to mind during the chorus is swag. That's all I can think of, just swag. Probably makes me sound old.
We are a little old compared to them.
Yeah! Sorry, we said yeah because it's like the party, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, they're literally just doing
Straight line, yeah.
one long line.
Wow. How do I start? Do I want to start with fangirling or do I want to start with comments? I'll start with comments. Okay, so let's talk about their dance a little bit. With the most obvious thing, let's start with just like the driving moves. And obviously the concept, the name of the song, everything lends itself to the driving theme. But I really loved the attention to detail that they paid in the driving because it's very easy to do something where like your hand's out, like you're holding a wheel and you're just sort of moving. But there were a lot of smaller movements that sort of built up their body into that position right on the last build up into the chorus. Like it starts at their feet, like they're hitting the gas pedal, their hand shifts, like they're changing the gear shift, their like whole body sort of goes into this move before they take off into the chorus, and it sort of gives you the build-up and anticipation of like the start of a car race or something, like when you're waiting for the like horn to blow. Because yeah, it's like you're like, okay, we're gonna go, and then you take off and it builds that anticipation, so it really like heightens the effect of the chorus. But also, straight after that, when they go into the chorus on the oh my gosh, y'all, that's one of my favorite parts of the entire dance because there's so much resistance on that move. It's so interesting because they start to turn on Jikjin, their whole body sort of like turns, and then they're pulled back like a rubber band is snapped backwards, which like, meaning of the song, concept, going straight, like can't get away from you, that sort of thing, makes a lot of sense because it's like they try to turn and then they come back. Love it for that reason, but I love it more because of how just like much technique goes into that. I guess it really shows an elevated and like higher skill level because there is actually resistance to it. They aren't just going and then be like, no, I'm gonna come back. There's weight to their movement. It's just so satisfying. It adds so much texture to the dance when you have different like accents in a dance like that. I looked forward to it every single time the chorus dropped. A couple of other more just like kind of easily noticeable things. They use a lot of small groups, which is common in treasure dances, but I liked it for this one especially because in the verses there were a lot of walking patterns, and like if you could look past the smaller group in the front singing, it almost looked like a busy interstate or something because they were like weaving in and out of each other and the lines were all following. So I thought that was really interesting, but also there were so many straight lines, and this is going to sound so strange, but I love straight lines because they're so much harder to do than you think they are, because when you're doing a straight line, everything actually is cheated a little bit so that you're all on the same angle, and like you pointed out the straight line in the dance break at the end when they come together, that's actually a lot harder to do than it looks because they're having to be aware of each other as they come and know exactly when to stop, and you actually can see them sort of, it's a trick where they put their hand out for that move so they know when they've gotten to the next person, and so their line is perfectly straight. But it's just like, it makes my heart settle. It's like, ah, oh, beautiful. But the last dance note I wanted to say is I love the way they sent their energy in this, because you would think with the song and just like the fact that Treasure has this more like hip-hop vibe, like they're a little swaggier, like I said, everything would be very weighted down and they'd be accenting everything down. And there are parts of the dance where that is true, but a lot of it is accented out, which is very interesting because they're cheating their movements out. Cheating in this case is not a bad thing. In this context, cheating would be, instead of doing something directly down like you would think normally, they're sort of shifting everything forward a little bit. A good example is the beginning of the dance break at the end where they're jumping on one leg and pumping the other leg down. Typically that would be more directed at the floor, but instead it's directed a little bit out because they've leaned back, and their energy in this as a whole is sending it straight to the audience. So it's just reinforcing the concept of like going straight, like fast, pedal to the metal, like get there as fast as possible. It's so nice. And basically all I'm saying here is that I loved it. I loved it so much the first time that we watched it and listened to it. We literally finished filming and we're both like, wow, we loved that. And then I listened to it again with both headphones in and I loved it even more. And I just know this is the type of song where the more I listen to it, the more I'm going to like it. I'm so happy right now. Anna's turn.
Hello, it is now time for my comments, and I mean, Peyton ended her comments this way. Yeah, I also really loved it. So, to say one of the small things about it that I really enjoyed, you were mentioning like listening to it with two headphones, and yes, it was different because when we react, we're like splitting the headphones, so you don't get to hear all the little details as well. But listening to it on my own, there are just like some little things, such as in the chorus, you hear the do sounds, and they're coming in from opposite sides, and I don't know if I've ever said this before, but just like personally, that's one of my favorite little things that you can hear in music, coming in from alternate ends. I think it just makes it more interesting for the listener, so I loved hearing that. Generally, describing the song, it was very punchy in my opinion. Obviously for the kind of sound style of the group, their music is really like beat focused. So some things that were contributing to that were, obviously you hear the synths in the background, and also like clap sounds because it's like everyone coming together even before like the ending group dance break, but also there's like a punchy bass drum, and then also electric guitar hits. Especially in the beginning, you hear electric guitar and the bass drum doubled together because you're hearing them both at the same time on the same beat. It's even more effective, like punching, you hear, like, you feel it. But then for, like, the more melodic parts, like the pre-chorus or, like, the second half of the verse when they're singing, that punchy feeling pulls back because also, like, the moment in the song is sort of, like, building up instead of the heavy weight. So that's where you hear the clap sounds more. Speaking of, I really enjoy the singing parts, obviously. But one thing that I liked about them, especially, was you hear this sort of bubbly synth in the background, and I think I made a passing comment in the beginning where I was like, oh, doubling. Basically, it's like outlining the same chord progression that the melody is singing in like the background. So it's just constantly ascending, but then that synth in the background continues to ascend even if the melody stops and like starts singing something different instead. It's the da 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 da, that line. And actually a lot of the instruments in this are constantly like ascending, so moving up, sort of building the energy, or also you could say constantly moving straight ahead. One thing that I noticed about this though is that they played a lot with silence. So like even though there were like the heavier moments, especially you notice in the chorus or right before the chorus, it's like complete silence and then the chorus starts. But even within that chorus, it's like pretty minimalistic. Like you hear the boo, 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 but besides that, it's completely silent, which I thought was really interesting. I think it's more effective in that way. Going from the second chorus into the bridge into the final chorus, I was kind of surprised that they did a final chorus before going into like the outro dance break part, but it is like a variation of the final chorus. Like it's way more high energy, there's a lot more instruments brought in, and then they have like the big YG fashion party moment at the end. As expected, it's like group chant singing style, so it's like everyone coming together, but also the very ending of the song is like not necessarily a sound effect, but it's like the electric guitar combined with all the other instruments for like a final explosive effect. So it does feel like a big explosion, but I don't think they like actually sampled an explosion sound, if that makes sense. Something that I'm learning in one of my classes recently where it's like you use musical instruments to imitate the sound of something else, which I think they do earlier in the song too. The only other thing that I had in my notes was like an internal monologue debate of trying to figure out what my favorite part of the song was. It did not work out well. Peyton's reading it and laughing.
I've been reading it the whole time.
Yeah. Basically, I liked all parts of the song.
That's the final part.
But yeah, that's all I have to say. This was great.
That's great.
I feel like, I don't know why, but every time we react to Treasure, we're like, yeah, it's gonna be good, but then like at the end of watching it for the first time, we're both like, wow!
It's because they just keep getting better and better and better. Look at that growth.
Jikjin.
Jikjin! They're going straight! I love it. Okay, anyway, so it's time to wrap up. We both talked for so long, but you know what? It's okay, because it's been over a year since Treasure had a comeback, like a Korean comeback, and we were both so excited for this. That being said, the TLDR for today's video is, first and foremost, Treasure, congratulations on your long-awaited comeback with Jikjin! Anna's gonna hate me. You have taken this comeback and driven straight into our hearts once again. We both love this, if you can't tell from how we reacted, how we could not stop talking about how much we liked it, and all of the amazing details in the song, in the dance, the way they've grown. I think it's safe to say that we are both like super pleased with this comeback and also really looking forward to the promotions for it and what they have planned for us.
As always though, if you'd like to talk with us more about Treasure, about this release, then feel free to reach out to us on our socials, which are linked in the cards. And as always, if you enjoyed this reaction video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and bye!